Okay, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a dog bowl for your doghouse. This is for KMS students, CT8. So we have now made our dog house, just a very basic dog house, nothing fancy, with the name on the front, and the dog bowl, which is going to look like this with the name of your dog on the outside. So this is what we want to make today. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to go back to the home and we're going to do a new part file. So in this part file we're going to do, obviously, going to start with a new sketch. I'm going to use the XY plane for this. XY plane. So we're just going to make a basic rectangle. So really what I'm doing is making the radius of the bowl, because when this is made we will then revolve it. Once we revolve, it will make the diameter. Right now we're just making the radius. So if I wanted a dog bowl that was 8 inches wide, then I want to make this radius 4 inches, which is half of 8. Then I'm going to push the tab button, which brings me back to the height of the bowl. The height of the bowl, let's just say we want that to be 3. Alright, so if I click enter and hit the front, this is kind of what I have. This is just, the height is correct, but it's just half of the diameter. It's the radius. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to click rectangle again, and I'm going to come over here where that turns green, and I'm just going to make a lip. This is going to be the lip of the bowl. Let's make that 0.25 and click enter. And the height of it really, like if I go over here to the height, it really doesn't make that big of a difference. Make it 0.5 if we want, and I'll show you how this works here in a second. So now we have this rectangle over here. Hit escape to get you out of this, okay, and then hit the trim button and trim this inside, and you're probably going to have to delete some things. So let's go up here, right click and say OK, and we need to get rid of this dimension now. So I'm going to right click on the 4 and delete it. I'm going to right click on the 3 and delete it, and let's try now. I'm going to try to trim that out now. Nope, still says we need it, so I need to right click on the 0.5 and delete it. Now we trim that out. Still says it, so I must have to get rid of this 0.25. So I'm going to right click on the 0.25. So now everything is gone. It should let me trim this out. There it is. Now that little piece is gone. So let's finish the sketch. And let's hit the home button. And up here where it says revolve, we're just going to revolve around that axis. This is what it's going to look like. Say OK. And here is your dog bowl. Now notice, see that lip on the outside? Just an added feature to it. A little easier to pick up if we're picking it up and taking it somewhere. Then we're going to shell out the inside. So click shell. Very simple, just hit the top. Just hit the top. You may need to click on remove faces, but normally it works. Now this is a 0.1 inch thickness. We can make this 0.25, make it a little thicker, and say OK. And now we have our dog bowl. Alright. Now if I want a dog bowl, let's go ahead and go up here to Tools, Appearance, and let's say I want this to be like a stainless steel. Let's see if there's any option there. So here's a stainless steel. So if I click on, what I could do is highlight the entire bowl and click on this. So you can go through and decide which one you want, but I just clicked on the first one and hit this little arrow, and now it is a stainless steel bowl. Alright, so you can do whatever you'd like, make it whatever appearance. Now we want to make it look like there's some water in here. So I'm going to hit this top view and it should bring me here. I'm going to do a right click on the inside of here because we want to do a new sketch. So right click, new sketch, and look, I'm still on the front view. So I'm going to hit the top again, and I'm just going to make a basic circle from the inside, and I'm going to go all the way to where you'll see that black line. Make sure I have it right. You want to make sure that's perfect. Alright, now I've got a circle inside my bowl. Finish the sketch, and if I go, you can see this green line. Well, it's green unless I go on it, then it's white. That's what we want. So for some reason it needs to go to 3D model. So we're going to extrude that circle just like that, and let's extrude it up to 2 because we just gave him water, so his water is full. Say 2 and then OK. Now if we go back to Tools and Appearance, I can type in water here, and I could change the inside of this to make it look like water. So I'm going to hit this arrow, and now I have a water bowl that is full of water. Now let's say I wanted to do food. Well, for this one, I'm going to go back to Appearance, Tools and Appearance, and if you just type in, most dog food is brown, right? So I'm just going to type in brown and hit this again, and when I just hover over these, it'll tell me what they all look like. So you can decide which one you think looks the best. I think it's this one right here. So now I now have a dog bowl with food in it. Alright, so there you go. That's how you make a dog bowl with the appearance of food. Now let's just say we wanted to put a name on this dog bowl. So here's how we do this. This is a little more complicated. So I'm going to go back to 3D model. Alright, now over here in the origin, you have a little plus sign, I have a little arrow, but anyway, we want to go, there's 3 different planes. We want to hit this XZ plane. Right click on right click on the YZ plane and make it visible. And now it's visible. So that's in the middle, in the very center of the bowl. I don't want it to be in the very center of the bowl, so I've got to go up here and find a work plane. So I'm going to click on work plane, and notice when I come over to this YZ plane, see how it turns a different color? It's yellow now, and I come over here and it turns white. Click on that and pull this out. Remember, it's an 8-inch bowl, so half of 8 is 4. So notice how that number turned to 4. That's what we want. Say OK, and that's now at the very edge of the bowl, and that's what we want. Okay, so now we have a work plane. We can actually draw on this and do new sketches. So I'm going to right click, see where that turns white. Notice it's yellow, and if I hover over it turns white. Wait till it turns white, right click, and do a new sketch on that. Now I'm working on that plane now. I'm going to click text, and I'm going to make my text the entire width. I'm going to make my text box the entire width of the dog bowl. And my dog's name is Tucker. Alright. Now Tucker right now is going to be 0.12 inches. Highlight Tucker. Remember, our bowl is 3 inches tall, so we want something that's probably maybe 1.5 inches tall. Okay, and then I'm going to bold it just to make it look real nice and big and bold. Hit the center and hit the center and say OK. And now that doesn't look real good because now it's perpendicular. So what we have to do is click on rotate up here at the top. So I'm going to click on rotate, and I'm going to go to one of the corners of my text box. So let's go to this corner of the text box, and we should be able to rotate, and it's not allowing me to do that. We need to click on select, I think. There we go. So rotate that to where it's 90 degrees and say done. Now I can click and drag that over there. Okay. So now that says Tucker on there, and I'm going to finish the sketch. Alright. Now it's not done yet because obviously it's still just a 2D. Tell that's just a 2D. So now I'm going to extrude this, click on Tucker, notice it's going out. We want it to go the opposite direction, and now it's going to look like that, which is going to be kind of weird. So we could do that, but I think there's a better way. So let's cancel that, and let's go up here to emboss. In emboss it says wrap to face. Let's wrap this thing to the face of the bowl. Alright, so we got wrap to face, and let's hit this arrow right here to go inward. Wrap to face, and it's not allowing me to do it. And it's going the wrong direction. Profile. Oh, we had to click the face. And there it is. Now that was a long process. So that was kind of a long process, and I had to kind of figure that out on the fly. So that's how you do it. When I get back to school, I will fix that, but that'll at least give you some idea of how to make the dog bowl and put a name on it. Okay? If you want to place that into your doghouse, you have to create, so go to My Home, do an assembly. Let's place in the doghouse, basic doghouse. Oh, it's already got an assembly, so let's open up that doghouse assembly. Here it is, and then I want to place in the dog bowl, basic dog bowl, and there it is. Say open, and then I want to put that just anywhere here. Right click and say OK. Once it's in there, I want to constrain the bottom. Remember, it's mate. Constrain the bottom to the bottom of that. There you go. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. I want to go to this third one, tangent. This tangent it allows me to go a circular object to a flat object. There's a circular object, and then I could go to this flat object, and notice how it goes straight on there like that. Say apply. Now it's still going to move. Click cancel. It's still going to move back there. So if you want it not to move, we're going to have to put it in a corner. So constrain, mate. Let's do a tangent again. So I'm going to click the round object, and let's go to that back wall. You see I'm hitting this back wall, and there it is. Now if I don't want it in the corner, I could always change this number to like a 12, and it pulls it off of the wall a little bit. And say OK. And now this bowl does not move. It's inside of your doghouse. Alright, hopefully that helps. Sorry for the confusion. I'll try to fix that later.